Hello. I always say hello, everybody. It's Nick, and it's obvious it's Nick, but I still say it. It's just something that's really ingrained in me. Another one of my video diaries. So I haven't done one for a few days because why not? I don't know. I mean, I haven't really had anything massively life-changing to say, to be honest. So it's coming up to 3 weeks now since I had my operation on my tendon to repair it, and I've made it's incredible actually how much progress you make. So last Tuesday I was taken out of my plaster and put into an air boot, which was a really fundamentally life-changing day for me. Apologies if you hear the barking in the background. It's actually my two puppies having playtime. They always have playtime at this time of night, just after they've been fed, but they're straight out in the other room because otherwise they just literally jump all over you. Anyway, yeah, it's really life-changing because going from a plaster is non-weight bearing, so basically, you can't put your foot down, you're in plaster, you're on crutches. Even going to the toilet, is a mammoth task. Going up and downstairs, you go up and downstairs. I go up and downstairs on my bum. Having a wash, you can't carry a cup of tea for yourself. The lack of independence was just, it was more than breathtaking. It really knocked the wind out of me, and it left me in a really agitated, restless state. So I find it really difficult to watch TV or to read books or to do anything, to be honest. It was just a really horrible 2 weeks, and that's it. I don't have any way to describe it. And now I know that I'm really aware of the rational side of this that says, I'll put it in context. It's only 2 weeks and there's light at the end of the tunnel, and this is going to make your leg better and it's good for the long term. So I know all of that. That's why I've done it. I haven't put myself through surgery without any good reason. I know all of that. I know all of that, but it doesn't change the way you feel in the moment. And I think one of the things that, as human beings, we do need to get better at is allowing people to sit in that, I'm choosing my words, is allowing people to have valid feelings. So actually, for that 2-week period where I was in plaster and I could really do very, very little for myself, it was a really difficult time for me personally. Now, that's not to say that other people aren't having a more difficult time, and that's not to say that there isn't hope and some choices I could have made or anything like that. But for me, the feelings that I had at that period in time were very difficult. The lack of control, the lack of independence, the lack of physical movement was really hard. And actually, one of the most comforting things that I find, and I think this is really, for me, the purest form of empathy, is when somebody actually really allows you to feel like that, to share those feelings without trying to correct them, without trying to solve them, without actually trying to cheer you up. Just to be able to sit in that really difficult space with you and just allow it to be. Because the minute we step in and we try and offer a solution, or say, oh, well, it's not that bad, or look on the bright side, or it could be worse, or think about this, or think about that. Sorry, they're so loud, those puppies, when they play. In a way, we're taking away our ability, the person's ability to process how they're feeling. And it is, I always come back to this Taoism and water and allowing things to flow. And we have to allow things to flow. So if we don't allow ourselves to actually just let this stuff go, whether it's, and I think verbalizing it does make a massive difference, actually. I think there's something that neurologically happens in our brain, allowing ourselves to verbalize it. I think that's why journaling is just so effective for people, because it takes it out of the brain and it gives it somewhere to go. And I've definitely observed that is something that's quite difficult. And also that until we've been through something like this, so looking at the operation I've had from the outside, even me, myself, I was like, oh, it's no big deal. It was no big deal. Actually, any kind of surgery is a big deal. It is, because, you know, our physical, I think we vastly underestimate the dependence we have on ourselves and our physical ability to do things. I think vastly, I know I've vastly underestimated it. So I think it's really helped me grow my understanding and empathy for life without full use of all of your physical faculties. And I just can't tell you how relieved I am to be out of that plaster and in a boot. Now, it was interesting when the surgeon came in to see me. You know, I was really emotional. I was really teary. And I think it was just a combination of relief that, you know, everything was okay. You know, at that point in time, you know, the operation was okay. The tendon was holding. He was happy to put me in an air boot, and the relief that I was going to be able to move around and have more independence. But it was also a lot of fear, because, you know, it's really sore. It's really sore. And all of a sudden I've got to put weight on it. So there's the opposite of it. But it's interesting just how quickly your body adjusts to something, because the first few hours I was just, you know, really scared, and a lot of it was psychological rather than physical, but it was also very sore. And as each day's gone past, I mean, I had it Tuesday, it's now Sunday, you know, the amount I can do today, and I haven't taken any painkillers today at all. And that's today's the first day where I've not taken painkillers. And just the progress that our bodies make so quickly is just incredible. So I've no doubt that, you know, I'm 1 week in the air boot. I've got another 3 weeks to go, and then actually they're hoping to get me back into normal footwear and all kinds of different rehab. I mean, the hard work in a way starts. Well, I'm at the physio on Tuesday, so I guess the hard work starts this week in terms of rehabilitating my leg. So, you know, they've done the surgery and we've got over that bit. But I think I've really had my eyes opened. I hadn't realised the mental, psychological impact has been really quite significant for me. I've really struggled with it. I don't think I'll ever underestimate surgery again. And I certainly will be far more empathetic and compassionate to other people who are going through any kind of surgery. I mean, you know, you hear about people having knee replacements and shoulder replacements and this, and it just all becomes like second nature, right? So, oh yeah, it's just stuff that we have done. And you know, a lot of that stuff happens particularly to older people. And I'm thinking, you know, it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. It affects your life. It's really debilitating for a period of time. And although people, you know, 2 weeks doesn't sound long, but when you're living that 2 weeks not being very physically active, oh my God, does it seem a long time. So I'm really relieved. And the thing I keep holding on to in my head, for those of you that were fans of Sex and the City, which I was, you know, massive fan of Sex and the City. And there was the scenes where, I don't know if those of you remember, Samantha got breast cancer, and her hair came out from the chemo in these particular episodes, and she did get very sad that you know, she felt it wasn't for her. It was a very beautifully written storyline, which was a combination of the you know, the reality for her of having breast cancer, that going through the treatment, facing mortality, the fear that goes with that, but also the real loss of, you know, the vibrancy of who she was, you know, her sexuality. She played a very overtly, you know, sexual empowered character. There's a scene where she's very sad. She's lost all of her hair, and her boyfriend sends her some bulbs, and he says, you know, they will flower in however month's time it is, as you will do. And it's a beautiful line. And that's the thing that actually I keep thinking in my head, is that as these spring bulbs start to flower and come to life, actually so will my physical ability. Because in terms of my rehabilitation program, you know, I'm about, you know, I've got, I don't know, I've got 8 or 9 weeks in front of me of rehabilitation before I can really start to feel and do some of the normal stuff that I really enjoy doing, like walking the dogs down the river, getting in a swimming pool or swimming in a lake. All of these things I'm never going to take for granted again, never. And maybe that's why I'm doing these diaries, is to remind myself, to be able to go back and to listen to these, to remind myself of just how precious those things are, the simplest of things. And that's the thought it's a really big thought in my mind that's come back to me. One of these random dots, you know, that I've kept in my mind from years ago, is as those bulbs in the spring, as those flowers come, and hopefully I will also start to bloom too and get back to my old self, because the loss of the physical energy, I'm very much, I think about physical energy, I'm very exuberant, very physically there, has been a real loss of myself. It's been so much more than about the physical, is the best way I can describe it. And yeah, and a loneliness that's quite difficult to share with people, because it's not something that, you know, people can step in and kind of solve, and nor should they necessarily step in and solve. But a little bit like Pooh and Piglet, it is quite nice to have people, and it is really, really, really a difficult and a special thing for people to be able to do, who can just sit with you in that uncomfortable space without actually trying to fix you, but just allow you to feel like that, because that's how you feel about them. Okay, so that's today's diary. Okay, lots of love, bye.